The migrant crisis keeps turning our cities upside down. New York streets and subways are flooded with illegal vendors and overwhelmed resources. And it's the average American who's paying the price.
As more migrants arrive in New York, we want to go beyond the headlines and highlight some of the personal stories of those who made the long and dangerous journey to the U.S.
And tonight we introduce you to a woman who came here from Ecuador and is now trying to make a living selling churros in the subway. Fox 5's Christine Russo has her story.
Selling churros and water bottles, Elvia Caiza says everything she does is for her two sons.
Yo puedo ganar el día unos $100.
I can make $100 or sometimes $120 a day. She came here from Ecuador 3 months ago, making the journey like so many other recently arrived migrants, mostly on foot. Selling churros, she says, is her way of getting by in the city.
$5.
But some days, she only makes enough to break even.
El churro me cuesta $1, pero yo le doy a $2 porque el azúcar.
The churros cost me about $1, and I charge $2 because of the sugar, which I add myself, so sometimes I don't bring home much money. On a hot Friday, she sells as much as she can before the daily afternoon police sweeps.
Llego a las 12, a la 1 del día y paso hasta las 9, hasta las 10.
I get here at 2, and then sometimes I stay past 11 until I finish selling everything. Other vendors coming by to give her the heads up that a few officers were on their way. The fines, I'm told, are $100, often more than many make in a day. This afternoon, we saw police confiscate one vendor's entire cart. Times Square has often been a hub for unlicensed vendors. While it's a ubiquitous image of city life, it is still prohibited by the New York City Transit Rules of Conduct.
Pero dando gracias a Dios, me siento muy contenta para poder aquí trabajar y salir en adelante con mis hijos.
But thanks to God, I feel really happy to be able to work and continue moving forward with my sons. More than 70,000 asylum seekers have arrived in New York City over the last year. Recently, Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul have requested the Biden administration help expedite the process for asylum seekers to get their legal working permits.
Look, guys, everyone's got the right to the American dream if they come here legally and respect our laws. But many of them don't. And that means that scarce resources are diverted away from the needs of our own people, especially Black and Hispanic communities. The Democrats' failed policies on immigration directly betrays the trust and interests of everyday citizens. Let's not forget that New York City boasts a taxpayer-funded card program that costs $53 million and hands out $350 per week to migrant families. All this while American families are struggling with inflation and job security. This is our money, guys. The city has said that this program has helped circulate about $600,000 back into New York's economy. But at what cost? How much of this is really costing taxpayers? And what would happen to us if we were caught selling goods illegally on the subway? Blue cities need to get their priorities straight. But instead, they choose to institute policies that reward people who have knowingly violated our laws. How is this fair? More than 70,000 asylum seekers have arrived in New York City over the last year alone. Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul have been begging the Biden administration to expedite the process for asylum seekers to get their legal work permits. But where does this leave American citizens? Struggling to make ends meet, dealing with increased crime, and watching their neighborhoods change right before their eyes. This is a crisis of the Democrats' own making. They promised sanctuary, and now they're paying the price, and so are we. It's about a strain on our resources, the safety of our communities, and the rule of law. Illegal immigration brings chaos, and the people who pay the highest price are often the ones least able to afford it. Eric Adams and the Democrats promised sanctuary, but what they've delivered is a mess. They're handing out taxpayer money while American citizens struggle. They're allowing illegal vendors to take over our streets, creating safety hazards and sanitation issues. They're prioritizing migrants over Americans, and it has to stop now. But more Americans are waking up.
nauseating.
This sanitation issue, not
Baloney. Do something about it. Don't talk.
Longtime Brooklyn residents like Charlene and Conchetta say illegal vending is now pervasive on several streets from Borough Park to Bensonhurst.
It's just horrible. No one wants to live like this. I've seen shopkeepers selling fruit from their trucks because they were too lazy to take it out of the truck. Selling stuff from the street.
City Councilwoman Susan Zhuang organized a town hall with the New York City Department of Sanitation and the NYPD after fielding residents' complaints. Her office says the worst areas are on 8th Avenue in Borough Park and 86th Street near Bay Parkway in Bensonhurst. Illegal vendors using propane and open flames to cook meat and fish, people overtaking sidewalks with trinkets, shopkeepers illegally renting sidewalk space to illegal vendors, and dumped garbage that just isn't picked up. This is 61st Street between 8th and 9th Avenues here in Borough Park. You can see the garbage, including large items, just dumped here. I reached out to the city sanitation department. They said they will investigate and clean it up.
We throw a lot of resources and enforcement at this.
The city sanitation department says residents need to call 311 and that they have been issuing summonses. When it comes to the food products,
they will take that food and compost the food.
The city got rid of all vendors on bridges like the Brooklyn Bridge by making it a no vending zone and giving the NYPD power to keep the vendors off the bridge. But in this case, sanitation does the enforcement unless
if there's other illegal activities such as selling marijuana, illegal weapons, or anything of that sort, we will be there to enforce it and we will make arrests.
Councilwoman Zhuang says she's trying to set up one area, an open market of sorts, where vendors can go. She says a no vending zone is not likely in her district.
For this area, it's very hard, I'll be honest with you, because we have a lot of people pro vendor, and I'm trying.
It's disgusting. I'm embarrassed. And that's sad. When you're embarrassed about where you live.
Biden's open border policies are putting American lives at risk. It's not only dump garbage, sidewalk closures, and more crime. Federal agents recently apprehended 8 migrants because they were suspected of plotting a terrorist attack. They were living in Los Angeles, New York, and Philadelphia. Is this who we want coming into our country? Why are these people coming in unvetted? But I guess you get what you vote for. If this is what Democrats want, shouldn't we let them have it? The party that controls New York always spouts care and compassion. How about caring and having enough compassion for everyday New Yorkers? Democrats really seem intent on destroying their cities. And while New Yorkers are struggling to pay sky-high rent, Democrats are housing migrants in hotels at cities' and taxpayers' expense. That's right, the same city that tells us they can't afford to fix our potholes, or improve our schools, or keep streets safe, somehow find money to put up thousands of migrants in hotels. And it's not just any hotels. These are prime locations, often in areas where rent is already through the roof. Think about that for a second. While hardworking New Yorkers are crammed into tiny apartments, scraping together every penny to make rent, these migrants are living it up in hotels, all funded by your tax dollars. It's an insult to every law-abiding citizen who's doing their best to make an honest living. Undercover officers have also started arresting migrant pickpocketers. Many of these pickpocketing rings are now operating in New York. These migrants are housed and fed by you and me, all while stealing from us and claiming to be peaceful refugees. And let's not start on MS-13, one of the most violent gangs in the world. They're also experiencing a significant resurgence in several neighborhoods. This is what happens when you don't control your borders and enforce your laws. And what about the health risk? We're bringing in thousands of people from all over the world without proper health screenings. We need to ask ourselves, where does this end? How many more migrants can we support before the system collapses? How long can taxpayers bear the burden before they start to revolt? The reality is, Democrats have created a ticking time bomb. They've pandered to the migrant community for votes, promising them the world without considering the long-term consequences. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. This isn't just an immigration issue. It's an invasion. But what do you guys think? Are you seeing the effects of the migrant crisis in your community, in your city, in your county, in your town? I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts in the comment sections below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you smash that like button for me. It helps this content get boosted in the algorithm. Consider joining the ARP family. It supports me, it supports the team, it supports the channel. It gives us the ability to boost and push this type of content out to you guys on a day-to-day basis. Appreciate each and every person that has joined the team thus far. I really do. God bless each and every one of you guys. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. And I'm going to catch up with you all next time. Peace.